So, okay. Do both of you have your calendar set up in Pipedrive to start?
Yes.
I think
Okay.
I do. Yes.
I can confirm or deny it. There's Sam. Sam, you're in. Joseph, you're in as well. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So you guys are doing great, and you're ahead of a lot of others in here. Okay. So just keep in mind when we're going into the calendar, the list view. Some people prefer the list view or the calendar view. Some people prefer the list view. It just depends on what your preference is, and you can bounce back and forth. Okay.
Cool.
I want you to keep the same mentality on the calendar view like we did the email view, right? I said spend 30 minutes on the email, 30 minutes on the calendar. If you do that, you'll be caught up. You'll be having like lots of little reminders, and you'll be setting meetings up where you're focused on important things. Okay. And you're going to keep the mindset up that your activities here, should be linked to deals. You want them linked to deals. We're changing our mentality that if I book some time of mine, I want it to be booked on something that is prioritized towards a deal. And that means that when I decided that it was a deal, that means that there was a dollar out there that I could go get, and that I have evaluated it as something that can provide monetary value to me or the company. So why would I spend my time on things that don't bring me money? I want to create meetings. I want to create opportunities that are going to lead me to potential deals. So that's the behavior that we're trying to instill in the team. So that's the kind of the goal here. Okay. And we did that from emails, right? Searching through our emails to find opportunities in those emails where we've either sent a quote, I want to track it as a deal, or I've gotten a lead to me, I want to follow that lead to the ground to see if it was worth something. At some point, somebody wanted to buy something. Now it's my turn to vet it, see if we can turn it into something and sell it. Okay. That mentality is what we're looking for in our calendar. And the biggest thing that I love about the calendar is this. In this list view, it'll show a lot of the time y'all have your calendars preset before you're kind of educated on how the calendar works. So you're going to have a lot of these red over here in the list view that are overdue. Okay. So one of the things that I would advise you to start going through here is I'm going to show you is how to get these off of here as done, mark as done to get these cleaned up as your activities. However, when you're going through here, it's important that you make sure that, I'm going to just pretend that this is a customer visit, right? I had this customer visit, and let's say Beth's the customer. I want to go in here and I want to, address this meeting with Beth. Let's say Beth is my customer. Did this become a lead? Okay. Or a deal off of my meeting, right? So I'm going to do an example. I'm going to say in here, I'm going to say, had a meeting with Beth. Turned out she wanted a Dean pump and an RGD 150 dryer. Okay. So I would save that. Okay. Now in here, I'm trying to figure out how to do it from this view, but I know I can do it from my phone. But in this case, I would want to create a deal off of this meeting before I hit the done button and get rid of this. If I've had an hour-long meeting with people or whatever, you guys are out there spending your time burning our gas, right? Out there, we want them to turn into deals. So before you check this to go and it goes away forever, that time that you spent, did it become a lead? And I want you to feel confident that you're creating deals off of these meetings. So how do I do that? I just log the note. So the quick way to do it in the web version is this. Go over here, it turned into a deal. I would say that Beth is my contact. You can do this process of adding if you need to. Let's say that I had a rental service meeting Dean /RGD deal. Okay. and it's $3,000. And so it's kind of confusing here because I'm doing it as I used both a pump and a compressor example for equipment. It would fall into both categories here. So I would have to pick one. So let's just pick the compressor one just in general and ignore the Dean side. We'll just go straight in here to say that this was an RGD dryer lead. And that the stage in the pipeline is that it's now I met with the customer. I've labeled it as a compressor group. Say the probability of close is 50. Let's say I think I can close this by July the 18th. I'm the owner of the project, and I verified that it is in the correct pipeline, right? Here's all your pipelines accessible. Use the compressor pipeline for that. Okay. This do not use one is not relevant. It's the one that I use. It's not a service agreement. It's not a competitive account. It's not a pump lead. We've determined that it's a dryer lead. So I would say yes. If you put it in the wrong pipeline, it becomes kind of hard to track and follow. In the compressor group, I would put a territory if I had it. If I don't have it, it's okay to put NA in a couple of these fields. In some instances, you'll have the data. In some instances, you won't have the data. And don't feel bad about putting NA to get this further along in the process. Questions so far? Good?
Yep, we're good.
Okay, cool. All right. So I'll go through here and I'll save the lead. There's something that's holding it up. Uh-oh, froze up on me. Froze up on me, guys.
Is it the phone number not having something?
Maybe. I'm trying to see if it'll catch. Okay, here comes coming back around. Let's see what's hung up on it. There it is. Valid number 1021. All right, now it'll save. So I'll go back to here. I'll attach rental deal. Okay. And then I'll mark it as done. Okay. I've attached a lead to it. Now I'll follow this process. So I'm okay to mark it as done, and it'll remove off of my overdue list. Everybody tracking with me so far? And then I can manage this deal, and I can start adding activities or notes or next steps that I need to follow up with Beth in 2 weeks, or I need to go make a visit. I plan another meeting with her in the future, and then I can follow it. Okay. Or I can go into my deal view now, and I'll go to my channel. I'll put my name in here, new equipment, and I can see my leads here. And it shows that I have an overdue activity, that I don't have anything planned associated with this. I need to schedule an activity. It's overdue. You guys tracking with me so far with what we just did?
Think so. Yep.
So
Yeah, I wish I would have been able to do it last week because some of the site things did turn into deals. So can we go back if we need to show that that meeting was successful?
for sure. So this is, for me, this meeting that was supposed to happen is overdue. I click over here on the overdue or next week. I can select the period. This is overdue. Okay. So all of these things will show as overdue until you hit this button. So for example, I'm going to close this out and it'll go away. And it will push me when you guys have seen this in Pipedrive, when you schedule an activity, it'll push you to the next step. So I would plan this as a test. It'll push me to do a next activity, test, follow up with Beth. And I like to do I know that my deal is going to close here, so I want to plan a follow up, a week from now. Follow up with Beth to schedule a meeting. All right, and it'll be due that day. I like to have them at the beginning of the day so that it'll pop up for me, and I'll close it out. If you'll see my calendar work, my view for next week of things I got to do, There it is. That'll be my follow-up, or you can see it on my calendar for the next, if I go to the next week. This is my follow-up with Beth that shows up in my meeting, or will show up in my phone. You guys seeing that okay? See the concept?
Yeah. I was marking them done, but I didn't know we could do the success rate of the meeting. That's a good measuring tool.
Correct. And I really like working the overdue stuff um, on my calendar, or also my overdue deals, right? All of my overdue deals. Those would be the way that I would, or by next activity. Um, this shows me all the ones that I don't have next activities on. So you can go over here and you can add some columns, like if you wanted to. Yeah, you can add anything on this list. Okay. And then ultimately where I'm trying to go is this, right? And I can finish and answer any of your questions. My goal is to go here, right? So I can go to make a dashboard for you guys like this, and I can go to my 11 overdue activities. See, these are my tasks. These are my meetings that I need to follow up with. And then I can export it and I can create, this is what I need to plan and you block some time off to finish up. I need to finish up, for me, that I have a Baxter preventative maintenance agreement that I need to do to Clark. Then I need to, the due date was June 17th. I added this on June 2nd and it's still not done. Right? I added this here. It's not done. It's overdue. So I got some stuff that I need to follow up on to get fixed for these meetings. And that's really the next step for you guys. You're adding stuff from your emails. You're adding stuff from your calendar. You're creating some leads. Now we just want to clean it up so that you only have 11 past due or so items, things that you can manage on a daily basis, right? Right now you got a lot of past due type stuff, and that's just because you haven't been using it, right? So don't feel bad about having some things that are overdue. You can just click the button to get through it. Don't feel like you have to get it to be an overwhelming rate, right? So then you can start seeing your funnel, right? Which is what we want. We want this to be accurate, right? We've won $14,000 for Joseph, but you got your close rate right now is in 7%, but you've got some things in the funnel, right? And so maybe they're getting stuck, right here. How do we get more of these deals moving from the proposals, sent to the negotiation? Do we have some meetings around these two deals, right, that we're about to close? Like, we would want to look into those and start asking some questions, right?
Okay.
So that's where we want to get to, is creating these having a dashboard where you can plan your week and you could say, okay, here's my open deals, right? Here's the things I need to clean up from last week. Here's where I'm at in the pipeline. Let's try to figure out what those deals are so I can go create a meeting so I can get this thing closed. Or maybe I need to, move these along in the process. How do I move these along in the process? Hopefully you'll be able to see, you're having 16 calls and 8 meetings. Maybe I need to propose a little bit more, or maybe I need to go back and look at, my deal one right here. What did I do in this meeting, right? What activities did I have here that led me to success to close this deal? Hopefully that's the conversation of where we're going with. You're getting data in from emails. You're getting data in from calendars. This is how you kind of this is how we get it into the funnel. Here's how the reporting should work. This will help you choose. It'll kind of lead you back, and then maybe it's just lost. Maybe it's just not worth pursuing anymore. Updating the information so that you can go from there. Know what to work on next.
Cool. Sounds good.
Or you can do the funnel thing, right? This is the one that I use a little bit more. This is the one that I'm using right now. Sometimes I just like to go in the funnel and I like to say, okay, this is an overdue activity, right? Here's my overdue activities. I need to schedule an activity with this one because there's no activities that are scheduled for this deal. This is how you move things along. Okay, as this is a visual representation of your morning. Okay, well, crap. Look, this is my cooler situation. Sam, I created a lead for this for me to track because it's a warranty claim. I want to make sure that I follow that through. So it gets processed.
I definitely got to go back and change my statuses where it says contact made and demo scheduled. I wasn't doing that at first. So a lot of my stuff is probably in the wrong state of the pipeline.
Sure. And let's just be straight here, guys. And I want to be clear because I know, Sam, like you're a perfectionist, and I love that about you. You're super organized. What's important here is that you're not going to be, this thing's not going to be 100% the way you want it all the time, and that's okay. It's just the fact that you are going into the deals that you need to, and you're working them, like you're pushing them along, right? Like, and you're seeing that this needs some work. You're scheduling activities, you're scheduling calls to move these along in the process. Don't worry as much about these stages as much as that you're scheduling activities that drive you to push this thing along in the process. Does that make sense?
Yeah, like see those St. Dominic's ones, we quoted them a couple, but they repaired their thing, so I'm going to have to go in and close lost them because they just they went with the service, they didn't go with the new one. But it'll be a good history if I know what to go back if they want when they need a new one. I've got something a groundwork to do
Correct.
to compare.
Yeah, and like your dryer deal that you closed out here, right? You might be able to add some notes as to like why you think this one was successful, and you can go back and look at your previous one deals. Is there anything else I can show you guys here? You guys are doing really, really well.
I think this has been most helpful, but the past two sessions have really been helpful. I made some mistakes with uploading some of my contacts and stuff, so I've got some stuff I haven't touched that I need to go in. But other than that, the more we progress with the learning, the better it gets.
Sure. Awesome. Yeah, you guys are doing great. It'll make your life easier, and honestly, like at peace, just knowing if I set this thing up and I work this daily and I keep working on these things that I have going and I continue to add, something's going to pop out that's going to be good. And it's just because I have committed to be disciplined to the process of prioritizing what's important, and I'm executing on a daily level, and that will reap the reward of being successful in sales. Consistency wins.
Cool.
But if I'm doing it on my own, I can't remember all this stuff. There's no way. It's not humanly possible. There's just no way to keep up with all this by yourself, just your own brain. So, and if you give me 30 minutes in the morning, 30 minutes in the afternoon and do these things, I think you'll be, and we get the past due stuff accurate. I think you'll be rocking along just fine. All righty. I'm going to stop. Good work.
Appreciate it, ma'am.
Sounds
Keep it up.
good.
All right, guys. Y'all have a good night.
All right,
You
ma'am.
too. Thank you.
See ya.
Bye.